Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back. Back to the channel. For those who don't know, I'm Matthew, and this is Matthew Hawker Gaming. So today we're going to do another physical collecting video. I keep meaning to do these physical collecting videos. I haven't done as many as I have. But I'm in a bit of a state of change because the game room is just getting moved. I'm moving all my stuff into the new room and we're just getting finished. Anyway, I'm going to do this video today. Today's video is going to be my favorite Sega games videos. To say I've done others in this series before. I did my favorite Nintendo, I did my favorite PlayStation, I did my favorite Xbox games. So today we're going to finish the cycle and do my favorite Sega games. I've got my Sonic t-shirt on. I'm not going to show you that in person, but I'm going to... So, before we get into the video, I'm going to say there'll be some Sega hardware I'm going to exclude because I either haven't gotten as much experience or didn't have them when they were new. So we're going to exclude Mega CD because I don't have many games. And I haven't basically got to play them because I only had the hardware very briefly. It didn't work and I took it back. And then you say also Sega Master System I'm excluding. So we're going to feature all the other Sega hardware anyway. All right, Sega don't make hardware anymore. They used to be one of the big three. It used to be Sega, Sony, Nintendo, and then Xbox joined in as well. But anyway, we'll start at the beginning. We'll start with the Game Gear and we'll carry on and go through to Dreamcast. Anyway. Thanks very much. And as I would say, I'm mainly a physical collector, so I'm going to basically the price. So I'm in Europe for those that haven't seen me before. So I'm in the PAL region. So the prices I'm going to list are generally going to be PAL games because I'm mostly a PAL collector. There are exceptions though, but mainly a PAL collector. And I'm going to give you alternatives to playing them on more modern hardware as well. And if you could I know you can emulate them, but we're just going to get mainly physical people and how to play the games as well. Right, so we'll start off with the Game Gear. So the Game Gear, we'll just turn around. This says most of the stuff on the floor is basically, so you can see there's some consoles that haven't been moved yet, some PlayStation, some Xbox, there's a PVM down there. That's basically going to go into the room. So we're not in the gaming room yet while my dog's currently in there. We're saving the room because we want to do a proper new room tour video for the year. And then we're going to show it to you how it's done properly. And eventually I hope to have all the consoles in. Anyway, I've got a couple new ones in. I haven't set them all up yet. Right, so we'll start with the Game Gear. So the Game Gear was basically a Sega handheld, basically. And it was for those... It came out around the same time as the Game Boy, which would have been the early 90s. So I started out... I got a Game Gear first. I got the Game Boy later. So the Game Gear was in full colour, unlike the Game Boy that was black and white. Although both of them don't have very good screen quality. The Game Boy's screen was terrible because it had no backlight on the original model, and only later models had a backlight. The Game Gear, on the other hand, had a screen that is prone to going. So my Game Gear screen has given up because I think the capacitors on it have gone, and the screen can be quite blurry. All right, we'll go into the into games. So the Game Gear was known for. Oh, sorry. I'll sort of do this. So the Game Gear was known for a lot of Master System thing. It's basically like a handheld Master System. And you can get a converter that will play a lot of the games on Master System games on the Game Gear. It's called a Master Gear, I believe. I don't actually own one, although I've got Master Systems as well. I've got 3 Master Systems. Right. Anyway, so there's a thing that the Game Gear was also well known for a lot of platform games, mainly Disney ones and various other ones. So I'll show you some of those in a minute. And so if you're looking at to get the collecting for the Game Gear now, I would generally, if you want to play the cartridges, I would probably play them on an analog pocket because that's got a way better screen. Although you can do mods on the Game Gear that improve like the screen, but with a modern like IPS panel display. All right, so this is going to be the first game. So this is Sonic. So this is Sonic on the Game Gear. So this is a different game to Sonic on the Mega Drive. I've got a Sonic t-shirt on as well. So Sonic on the Game Gear and the Master System are a completely different game to the Mega Drive. They normally... Because around this time, they can't fully do the main console version on a handheld, so they decided to do an adapted version. And both of those games are quite good. So you can also play this on the Master System. I mean, you said this is the original Sonic. I believe it's still got a price tag on. I think that was where I did a collecting badge for Cubs or Scouts. I can't remember which one. I think it was Scouts. That was what I paid for it back in the days. It's currently, so I'm going to quote the prices, and prices from price charting as always. I'll quote the loose price and the box price. So the loose price, it's going for £6 some £6 something. Complete, it's going for £30.84. And Sonic is like the music from Sonic is iconic. Not so much on the handheld, but like on the main version anyway. So Sonic 2. So Sonic 2 was the first game to feature Tails in it. So it also came out on what was called, it was international release. It was on what's called Sonic Tuesday, which means it was simultaneously released worldwide on a Tuesday. Although I believe some of the shops broke that launch date. Anyway, Sonic 2 on the Game Gear. And if you can always, if you want to play it on a console, I would recommend the Master System version. Although there's lots of ways to play these Sonic games. There's lots of compilations. We'll go into those in a minute. So it's going for £4.25, £17.80 complete. Right, so now we've got Sonic Chaos. So this one is unique to the Game Gear and the Master System. There is no Mega Drive version of this game. So this is Sonic Chaos. It also got Tails in it again. Going for £6.13 loose, £26.24 complete. There's also another two Sonic games that are Game Gear exclusive. There's Sonic Blast and Sonic Triple Trouble. I do not own any of those ones because they're quite expensive. Anyway, so we'll move on to a platform game. So Game Gear's got quite a lot of platform games, and say this is Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse. This is also a Mega Drive game as well, but this is the Game Gear one. Completely different game again. I can't remember if it's slightly easier or harder. I can't remember the difference between the two. But anyway, Castle of Illusion, Mickey Mouse, there's also various other ones available. There's like Donald Duck, Lucky Dime Caper as well. I think I prefer this one. I think it's slightly harder. Anyway, Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse is going for £8.39 loose or £19.24 complete. Right, so now we're going to move on to something slightly different. So this is going to be the last of our Game Gear games. Also, right, so they say this is Crystal Warriors. This has been on my video before. I believe it was in my most expensive games video. Check that video out if you want to see some of my most expensive games. And some of them are going to make a repeat occurrence in this, but I try and do some difference and tell you a little bit more about each one. So this is Crystal Warriors. This is basically a predecessor to Fire Emblem, effectively. So this came out a lot earlier than Fire Emblem. So it's basically a tactics RPG on the Game Gear, which is like the Game Gear was designed to be played in short bursts because it was that the batteries on it didn't last very long. Obviously now, if you're playing on original hardware, I recommend you using an adapter to plug it into the mains because it drains the batteries really quickly. Or getting a modern, you can probably mod it to deal for like USB charge or something. All right, Crystal Warriors, a good early RPG. I believe I got this for my birthday one year. It's got my name on the back. It's got a Toys R Us tag. I can't remember if my parents got it. Like, it would have been new if it was Toys R Us, surely. So I had that new. I think it's dropped in price since I last featured it. So it's it's £12.89 loose, going for £52.52 complete. Now, so last time I said there was a sequel to this game, and I wasn't sure if I looked it up. So it's a Japanese only. It's called Royal Stone. It's basically the sequel to that I'd be interested in playing. It's in Japanese text, but you could probably get a translation patch if you play it via emulation. So that's going for £10.5 loose or £46.35 complete. Also, if you're looking into playing these tactical RPG kind of things, I mentioned Fire Emblem before on the current consoles. I mean, the current one is got on Switch Online. You can play the GameCube one, Path of Radiance. Shining Force is another game that I would think as well, and that's also available. Oops, I just dropped the things. Trying to do this one-handed is a problem. Right, I say Shining Force is also another good thing. Right, so we're going to go. So we're going to go into Mega Drive shortly, but I will show you these compilations first. So this is a Sonic Mega Collection because we're going to go into some Sonic games. So this is basically a way to play some of the Sonic games. So this has got the Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic Knuckles, 3D, the Spinball 1, and Dr. Robotnik Beam Machine. Now this is on the GameCube. This is the Mega Collection. This is 7 Sonic games. This one is going for... This one's going for £10. Then you've got Sega Sonic Mega Collection Plus. This is the Xbox One. It's also available on PlayStation as well. as well. Right, so this one is going for £5.89 complete. There's also Sonic Origins compilation available on the more current consoles. So you've got PS4 and Xbox. That's going for about £16 on PlayStation, £9 on Xbox. And then we've got the Mega Drive collection. So this is available on various different things. There's a PS2 version. I've just lent the PS2 version to someone. It's got a tag from 98% in Retro Gamer. Retro Gamer is a good magazine. It's a physical print magazine. It's been going for a long time now. It's going to be going about 20 years. I've got nearly a complete collection. Big thanks to Retro Gamer for the content. I buy that every month. It's also probably available internationally, I would think. Right, so this has got a lot of Mega Drive games on this. It's got 40 games. You've got some of the Sonic games. You've got Altered Beast. You've got Streets of Rage. Right, and that's a cheap way to play them. That's going for about £7 something, that one. You can also play the Mega Drive games on the Mega Drive Mini as well. Right, so we're going to go into the Mega Drive. Right, so I'm just going to pick up the things. Right, that's better. I'm trying to avoid spoiling them. Right, so we're going to turn over my piece of paper. Okay, so that's the first one, not on that. Right, I have to move. So this is the most expensive game I'm going to feature today. This is Castlevania the New Generation. So this is basically Castlevania. Castlevania started out, it was more or less more like a platforming game. Now they're more a Metroidvania game. So this is more like an old school Castlevania. This is called Castlevania. Oh, so the Mega Drive. I basically didn't have a Mega Drive on launch. I got a SNES near when it came out. So Mega Drive I got a lot later. I got the car boot, and quite a lot of these games I picked up for pennies. You can see what I paid for the game in the top right hand corner. It's worth quite a lot now. Yeah. So this is Castlevania the New Generation. So this is more a old school Castlevania game, and quite a lot of these Castlevania games are quite hard. I remember this and Super Castlevania, although I don't own Super Castlevania on the SNES. I mean, see, Mega Drive games also. Okay, so Mega Drive games are easier to collect for, as they have these hard cases, as opposed to SNES games that come in cardboard boxes. They were effectively called Nintendo cardboard, and also they come with these hang tags on the top. I'll show you one that's actually got the hang tag intact, because they used to display on like racks in the shops. All right, Castlevania the New Generation, one of the better Castlevania games in the series. I would say I like this one. I like Symphony of the Night is probably my favorite. I feature. All right, this is also called Vampire Killer in other territories. So this one apparently has been censored more than the Vampire Killer. All right, this is going for a lot. So this is most expensive game to date. So this is going for £39.31 loose. But then there's a steep jump when it's complete. So this is complete. It's going for £200, £213.49. Now, I will tell you there's another way to play this that's a lot easier to play. Just on current consoles and PC and Steam, you can get what's called the Castlevania Dominus Collection. That is also available physically as well for those that want to get a proper boxed edition. I don't have the boxed edition. I mean, I haven't got it yet. I'm going to buy it. I might even buy it after this video. Anyway, so that's wait, and it also comes with the Game Boy games as well. I think it's the GBA games, or is it the DS ones? I can't remember which way around it is. Is what I think it's the DS games actually, because the other ones on the Castlevania Advance collection. Yeah, it'll be the DS games. Comes with the DS games as well. Okay, so that's the biggest game of the day. Right, so now we're going to go into some more Sonic games. Sonic 1 on the Mega Drive. Also a thing. So I don't have Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, for instance, before I get into that one. So I'm only going to feature this. It's got a Games Room tag on it, which I remember is a local shop. That was the first place I saw the Dreamcast. We'll go into Dreamcast later. Anyway, it also did Warhammer as well, which is one of the crossover things. I know quite a few places do like Warhammer and Games Workshop and other miniatures as well. All right, Sonic the original. I can't remember how much I paid for it. Oh, this one has the hang tag intact, which you can see on the top. Sonic the original, so go £3 something, 13, £7.5 complete. All right, over to Sonic 2. As the same, it was the introduction of Tails to the series. The music in Sonic is quite a thing. There's also lots more. Sonic's still going. He's making games. What is it, Sonic Frontier, the one, and he did the kart racing one. I believe I own both of those on current platform. Right, Sonic 2 is going for £5.5 and £18.16 complete. My chinchillas are also named they're my pets. So they live next door. We've got 3 boy chinchillas. They're all named after characters from Sonic the Hedgehog. They're called Sonic, the original one. We've got Shadow and we've got Silver. Silver's birthday's coming up as well. So happy birthday to Silver. He'll be 3 this week. 3 on Thursday. All right, so now we've got one of, let's say, this is Zenon 2. So I forgot to say at the beginning, for those who haven't seen the channel before, some of my favourite games are basically shooters, old school shooters, and what are like the more modern bullet hell ones. I also like RPGs and strategy games, and I come from like a TCG background. Anyway, I've been playing video games 40 plus years. I mean, when you say so, Zenon is an old school shooter. It debuts on the Amiga, which is to say, I just had my Amiga set up recently. So Zenon 2 Mega Blast is it's more an old school shooter. The graphics on it were amazing. It was like, can't really show you very well, but as I say, I aim to show you some gameplay from these kind of games at a point, but I can't capture it yet. I've got the capture card, but then I need to load either HDMI mod, a load of consoles, and get some other hardware like an upscaler. But eventually I should be able to, I'll definitely show you gameplay from this at some point. It's a classic. And even my dad liked this game. Right. So Zenon is basically, it's not really a bullet hell shooter, but the music in the game was iconic. It was by Bomb the Bass. The song was a hip hop on Precinct 13. It sampled things. Anyway, I like Bomb the Bass for sure. I mean, check out the thing on Spotify, for instance. All right, Zenon 2 Mega Blast. This is the second game. The first one isn't as good, and it doesn't have the iconic music. So this one is going for £14 loose or £26.70 something thing. I will just show you the original version. So this is the original version on Amiga disc. Unfortunately, this one version has stopped working, unfortunately, for some reason. I don't know if it's got disk rot or something. I put my Amiga in recently. It's been set up fully now, and it's working and running most of the games. It's got a CVG hit. I used to buy CVG, Computer and Video Games. It was shortened for, it's a British publication. Yeah. Anyway, Zenon had the enemy variety is really good. The power-ups were quite original at the time, because you had like back shot. You could fire this little pod thing that came out the back and shot the enemies. You had like side shot, and there was like Super Nation Power, I believe, which was like a thing that gave you all the power-ups for like a limited time. The shopkeeper was iconic. He's in the top right-hand corner. It's not going to show up very well on camera. I believe there's also an Amiga CD32 version that's also quite rare. Right, that's Zenon. Right, so now we move on to some other things. We've got another shooter, so we've got Thunder Force. So this is one of the games in the Thunder Force series, of which there are 5 or 6. All right, so this is it's similar to a Darius or an R-type kind of game. It's got a similar kind of power-up system. All right, Thunder Force 4, probably one of the best in the series. Shmups are, in general, are quite expensive, and also shmups are quite expensive, and RPGs are quite expensive, and like games that are quite unique when you're trying to collect, or limited print run games, are quite expensive. All right, £22 loose, £60 something complete. I'm not sure if there's a compilation. I think it might be available on the Switch. I'm not 100% on that. All right, so now we're going into another game. We've got Phantasy Star 4, The End of the Millennium. So you see, this was expensive when it came out. The Phantasy Star series are quite well regarded. So it was one of the... Phantasy Star is more... It's kind of like a science fiction RPG. Most RPGs are fantasy. This is kind of one of the earliest sci-fi ones. There are a couple of other ones that are sci-fi, but this is one of the main earlier ones. This game was expensive when it came out. As you see, had a £50, $49.99 tag. That was similar to what a SNES game was in the UK when they came out. They were around that. I remember paying around that in the mid-90s. All right. So it's got a CNN Cycles tag on it, which that was a British bike brand shop and they sold games randomly. All right, it's going for way more than it went for original. This is available to play on the Mega Drive collection. So I recommend buying it on the Mega Drive collection, unless you think, so Mega Drive games also. So this is one of the subsets of Mega Drive games. This is the Blue Box series, I believe is the best way to call it. All right, I've got all my Blue Box games next to each other. There's quite a few expensive ones. The most expensive one, I believe, is the football one, the soccer game. I can't remember. I'm not a huge soccer person, and I don't think I'm going to go for a full Mega Drive set. Too expensive for me. Although I'll probably go for a full Dreamcast set. All right, so Phantasy Star, best played on the compilation. It's going for £92.23 loose. It's going for £207. I'd recommend buying it on the playing it on the compilation if you can. All right, so we move on to some pinball games. So I like my pinball games. So I've featured quite a few before, and I know Kirby made my best of a Nintendo video. All right, this is Dragon's Fury, which, as you see, it's got a Blockbuster tag on it. I mean, you see, Blockbuster was in Europe as well as US. Right, so Dragon's Fury. This is also called Devil's Crush, which is just a port of the PC Engine or Turbo Duo, as you call it in America. Anyway, so that version is way more expensive than this. This is basically just that game on that. And there's also some more recent games that are very similar to this. There's Xeno Tilt and Demon's Tilt, which are available currently, are in the Steam sale, and they're also, I believe, also available on console. I've got them on. I think I've got it on Epic because it was free. If you wanted to check if you got it on Epic, I'd scroll through your account. If you've claimed all the free games, I believe you'll have it. It's very, very similar to this. All right, I like pinball. I was hoping to get a digital pinball at Games Legends pinball table at some point. Hopefully, I'll be able to get one. Don't know if I have room for it. We'll have to find out. All right, £7.92 loose or £23.92 complete. Right, so that's that one. I'm just going through the piles. Okie dokie. Right, so the next one is going to be Micro Machines. So Micro Machines is this copy has like a horrible slice kind of thing for it. All right. So Micro Machines is I like my arcade racing games, and this is definitely an arcade racing game. Micro Machines is made, for those that haven't seen it, is the original ones were from like a top-down kind of perspective. Anyway, I've got the original on the NES. This is one of the slightly later ones for the Mega Drive. This is 96 Turbo Tournament. So this has got, I'll really have to try and open it now. So see if I can do this one-handed. This is, Micro Machines at the time was known for what's called the, I'll probably have to clear this up in a minute. It's called a J-Cart. So at the time, so the Mega Drive didn't have a multi-tap, which is more like from PlayStation. Oh, SNES had a multi-tap thing. So this has got an inbuilt multi-tap. Basically, it's what enabled this. Mega Drive only had 2 ports, like most consoles of the time. All right. So this is a way to enable extra players in these kind of games. They've got extra ports built into the cart. It's what's called a J-Cart. I think it was unique to Micro Machines. I don't remember any other games that had this feature. Anyway, Micro Machines 96 also is slightly different to the other ones. It's got a Sega Power sticker as well. I remember Sega Power. I think it was Sega Power, Sega Pro. I can't remember all of them. All right, it's got a construction kit, which means you can design your own courses, basically. So it's got a level built-in level editor. Oh, it's also got all this stuff in the box. I'll have to clear it up in a minute. All right. So Micro Machines 96 is going for £7 or 1861 complete. All right, there are a lot later games in the Micro Machines series up to the PlayStation 4. There's some on the Xbox and PlayStation 2, which I don't have. But we will show you one of the other ones. We've got Micro Machines V3. This is more this is semi-3D. It's an early attempt at a kind of 3D because the perspective's not quite the same as the other one. All right, this one's going for £5.88. Wait, sorry, £5.13, £7, something complete. And that's the original edition. It's also available in the Platinum edition as well. Right, then we've got, pardon me, I've got the sneezes. Right, we've got some compilation. So the Mega Drive had quite a lot of these compilation carts. Their series on the Mega Drive are called Mega Games. So this is one of them. I've also got I think I've got volume 1 as well, but that's got like columns and stuff on it. This one is Mega Games 2. This has Revenge of Shinobi. I can remember the original Shinobi in the arcade. I was playing the Shinobi recently on the Amiga, but it's not that version. I was playing the original one. Anyway, Streets of Rage, that's the original, and Golden Axe. Now these are a good way to get a lot of games that are quite more expensive or for cheap on the original hardware, and they're all on one cartridge. They've got free manuals in the box, all on the thing. So this is going for £5.88 loose or £20.11 complete. Streets, and they're all classic games. Golden Axe is the thing. I believe Golden Axe on the Mega Drive added additional content. There was a couple of other things, and Streets of Rage is one of the best sideways scrolling beat 'em ups. All right. There's later volumes of this that I just discovered for this video. I did some research. I mean, I looked on price charting and things. And there's the later volumes. There's like up to, I think there's 10 volumes of this. And some of the later ones are quite expensive. They're going for about £60. And I don't think I've seen most of them. I mean, to be fair, most of these games I get a lot of my games from like Car Boot and Charity Shop. So the 16-bit generation and backwards, and like even you struggle to find PS1 games now in the wild. And I say I wish I got more when they were cheap. Anyway, we carry on. Right, so we've done our Mega Drive. Now we next in the sequence is the Sega Saturn. All right, let me just put my paper up. Right. So the Saturn, I basically got a lot later again. I got it around the same time as the N64 or something. All right, basically I got a original Saturn. I got a lot of games with it, well, quite a few anyway. And when you say it stopped working, the disk drive went. It turns out it will probably be okay now because I can get it modded and get an OD in that doesn't require me to use the disk drive. So I'll probably do that later. Anyway. I got a replacement nearer the time, and I wasn't looking at getting more games, but I got the games that came with the machine. Other than the fact that the guy had a copy of the rarest game on the machine, Panzer Dragoon Saga. At the time, he wanted £50 for it, and I was like, I didn't want to pay £50 for it at the time. I was just getting the machine as a replacement. Turns out I should have now. It's a £1,000 game. Anyway, I wish I had that. That would be one of my more expensive games. Right, so let's have a look at what we've got. So we've got Nights into Dreams. So this being the caveat with Nights into the Dreams is it's an early 3D kind of platforming game. So I would think, so I enjoyed this game. It's great, but the only difference is I don't have the 3D controller that is associated with it. And I think it will be a lot better with that pad. So the game is relatively expensive. It's a £15 game loose. You see what I paid for it? I paid £3. It's complete as well. It's going for £45.37, but the pad is going for more as well. I didn't look up what the pad is. All right, it's basically the way it differs from a normal platform game, say a Mario, is the movement. You're playing a character that flies, and Mario flies if he has a cap or the right power up, basically. But it's the movement basically. It's a cross between in some ways it feels like a racing game as well because it's got like some timed aspects and the bosses. All right, Nights into Dreams. I also give you an alternative. So so before we go into the thing, there was a special version of Nights released called Christmas Nights, which is one of the Christmas theme things. Back in the day, they did quite a few of these Christmas theme games. I know Lemmings was another one, for instance. Right, so the Christmas Nights goes for £8.99 loose, or £28.44. I also think it was more like a demo than a full game because I think it was only like an adaptation of the main game. Right. So if you want to play another Nights game, a cheaper game, so this is Nights Journey of Dreams. So this is the one on the Wii. So the controls on this are completely different because you see the Wii was more known for its motion controls. Although you can play with the classic controller, you can see the markers in the top corner, in the corner, and it gives it the thing. Right, so this, as you see, it's got a CX tag on it. Right, so this is going for £8 something or £9.60 complete. Not a big thing. Right, so now we've got something that's going to be our first fighting game. So this, I do like my beat 'em ups. I'm not the best at them, but I do enjoy them. All right, this is Fighters Mega Mix. So this is slightly more unusual for a Sega fighting game because this is like it's the greatest hits of all the different fighting games together. It's more like I can't remember the thing. Right, anyway, so you can play as characters from Virtua Fighter, Fighting Vipers, even Virtua Fighter Kids, which is like a spin-off from Virtua Fighter with like the chibi kind of style artwork. And you can play as the Hornet from Daytona. Okay, so this is slightly more unusual. Going for £12.57 or £21.96 complete. Right. Then we move on to a bashing bottom game. So we've got Athlete King. So this is kind of it's the equivalent of like International Track and Field from the PlayStation on the Saturn. It's about bashing buttons basically in time to the thing. I also remember there being a remix of the tunes for was it Club Saturn, a music CD? Yeah, I remember that. I need to look at that CD. I've been just putting my CDs into my room. I've been using my stereo quite a lot as well. I mean, you can get the things on Spotify, but not everything. Like that wasn't be available. All right, Athlete Kings is a fun bashing button game. Not amazingly good at it, but I play it. All right, so now we move on to gun games. So we've got Virtua Cop. So I'm going to quote two different prices. One is going to be the game loose without the gun, and the other price is going to be with the gun. Both are available with the gun. So this is Virtua Cop, the original. I say I like my gun games. So basically, Virtua Cop. So gun games have to be played on a CRT. Basically, you can't play them on an HD TV or thing without some kind of modification effectively. I mean, there are ways you can play them. Anyway, Virtua Cop is the Saturn, one of the games on the Saturn. There's House of the Dead being another one. So they're not many gun games. But let's say Virtua Cop was a fun one. It was also, I remember years ago, there was a British program called Games Master. It's with Dominic Diamond, and that it had Patrick Moore on it as well. Right, so they did a thing where they were playing the two Virtua Cop machines simultaneously, I believe. All right, this is Virtua Cop, the original. I like gun games, and I did an entire video on light gun games. Check out my light gun game video if you want to see some more gun games. And there's people like Gaming Off the Grid have done like various videos on gun games as well. Right, so Virtua Cop is going for £9 something, like £15 complete. But okay, so that's the first one. So then you've got the second one, which is going for slightly more, £18. I think the scoring on the game is slightly better on the second one. I also don't like. I do not have the official Saturn gun. The one I've got is an unofficial third-party one, and it doesn't feel that great to me. It feels quite heavy, and I'm not that used to it. I play it. I'm going to show you. I played it on the PlayStation port more because it's got the gun is better, the G-Con or the one of the other ones. Right. The game with the gun bundles going for around £50. The PlayStation 2 version. This is the best way to play this game, on official hardware anyway. So this is Virtua Cop 1 and 2 all on one disc. It's called the Elite Edition, and it's I prefer the gun to start with. The G-Con or thing is more accurate than the Saturn gun, although I haven't played the official Saturn gun. Is it the Justifier? Oh no, that's a PlayStation one. That's the Konami thing. All right. Anyway, so that's Virtua Cop. I'll see if I can get these down and get the next lot. Right, so we're nearly on to the Dreamcast. Right, so we've still got some other ones to finish with. So we go on to Daytona. So this is the original edition of Daytona, which is the thing. There are not many games in the Daytona series. And it's an iconic racing game. This is the Hornet. It's the car on the front. And you can play as it in the game I just showed you, the Fighters Mega Mix as well. So this is the original version. This is not the one to look out for. This is the improved version, the Impal. There is a third version, I believe, that was Japanese only, but I don't have that version. This is the Championship Circuit edition that's got the revisions, and I think it's got more tracks. I can't quite remember. It even qualifies as a Sega sports game for some reason. I'm not really sure racing game is a sports game personally, but okay. Right, so one of the best arcade racing games. I like my arcade racing games. I need to get a racing wheel at some point to try them with the wheel. Right, so Daytona 1 is going for £5.09. Loose £17.47 complete. CE is going for £9.81 or £25.87 complete, and it's not the only Daytona game. We'll be going probably into another one shortly. All right, so those are the Saturn games. All right, let me know what your favorite Sega console to collect for is. I mean, you need to say what your favorite game is, for instance, or what's your best game in your collection, or do you have a complete set of anything? Right, so the next one is the Dreamcast. I mean, you say Dreamcast is the one that I have probably most affection for in the thing, but maybe that or the Game Gear anyway. No, the Dreamcast I got on launch. I got it from Game in the UK. Well, it wasn't Game. I think it was Electronic Boutique. Just about when it came out in 2000 and something. Right. So there are 219 games in a complete PAL set. I would like to get a complete set. I will see what I can do. All right, we're going to start with the thing. So the Dreamcast is... Oh yeah, I forgot to say the Mega Drive was called the Genesis in different territory as well. Yeah, so the Mega Drive was called a Genesis in America and so on and forth. Right, so the Dreamcast games have these nice blue swirls in this country. In Japan, they've got more a red kind of color with orange. The Dreamcast was also known for its different thing. It was one of the only consoles that has a VGA output to get a better resolution. The VMU was also a mini. It's a bit like a pocket station, if you know that from a Sony platform. It was a thing you could play the mini games on the handheld. It's a bit like a Tamagotchi, for instance. All right. So this is Daytona USA. This is 2001. So this is more expensive than the other Daytona games. I also think there's a Daytona arcade game that I'm not that familiar with. I think you can maybe play that on an emulator on Techno Parrot. That was a bit later than this one. All right. So this one is expensive. This one is £33 loose or 61.27 complete. Anyway, that's one of the best of the racing games. I like my arcade races. Right, so now we go on to Virtua Tennis. So this was the first tennis game I played, I believe. And I say it's also, I think, is one of the best arcade tennis games. This is Virtua Tennis 1. Virtua Tennis 2 is also available. I believe that added women into the game and something else as well, but I don't own that version, so we've got this version. As you see, I paid $14.97, which probably was in a sale. I think it was from Dixon's or something. You know one thing. It's not worth that now. It's going for £5.79 loose or £9.16. So tennis is one of my favourite sports to play. I'm not a sporting person in real life, but I do like them on the console. Anyway, I mean, say either tennis or golf, I think, are my two favourite video game sports. And let me know what your favourite video game sports are. Anyway, they don't release these every year anyway. I think I've got most of the Virtua Tennis games. I don't have all of them though, but I think they've got about at least 4 in the series that carried on to around PlayStation era. Right, we're going to have something more unusual now. Sega Bass Fishing. So this is available. So this is a weird one. So this is a video game fishing title, but it said this what that differs this from some of the other games that are fishing games. But there's lots of RPGs that have various fishing sections, like Breath of Fire, for instance. And it said this is its own game. There's also quite a lot of fishing games as well. This one that differs this from those is that it has a peripheral. It has a rod peripheral. So I'm going to quote 2 prices. This is the price with just the game. And then I'm going to quote a price for the fishing rod. I haven't got the fishing rod here, but I'm going to do a video game controller video. So the fishing rod will be making an appearance for that. You can also play Soul Calibur with the fishing rod. I tell you not, it works with the fishing rod. You can finish the game with the rod rather than the controller. All right, Sega Bass Fishing. It's a fun. It's more like an arcade game. It's the thing. And there's also a sequel. There's Sega Marine Fishing. And I'll show you another one in the series as well. They're not very many. All right, this is also available in a compilation. I'll tell you in a minute. Right, so Sega Bass Fishing is going for £6. Just this version. £6 loose, £20.83 complete. With the rod, though, it goes for nearly 60 at £59. I do not have the official rod controller. I've got an unofficial one. So the marine fishing didn't come out in the PAL territories, though, so I do not have a copy. Although you can probably get it fairly easily now. So this is the other one. So this I didn't even remember I had this, but I was looking through my stuff for the video. All right, this is Sega Base Fishing the Jewel. I think there's a kind of one-on-one aspect to this kind of game. I can't remember. It's also got there's also a rod available. I haven't really played it as I don't have the rod, but the game was fairly cheap anyway. The game is going for £3.45 loose, £5.52 with the rod. No, £5.52 complete. Sorry. The rod is going for like £26 and it comes with the game. So I haven't seen a copy with the rod. Right. Now we move on to some... so the Dreamcast, in European territories, it's got like a different set of games. In Japan, it's more known for the shooters. Oh, the Saturn was quite well known for some of the shooters as well. I think the Mega Drive Saturn and both of them are at least well regarded as the shooters machine, but like not all of them came out in Europe. Anyway, so we move on. Shenmue, I remember so I got this when it came out. So this copy it doesn't have the outer sleeve, but I do have a second copy that I bought because it had an outer sleeve and I haven't put it on the thing yet. So it comes in a cardboard outer sleeve. I think they're 4 discs. I'm not going to open it. You see, you can't really tell from the case what one they are. So it's the story of Ryo Hazuki, I think it is. Anyway, so there are not very many games in the Shenmue series. There are only 3 games. The delay between the second one and the third one was one of the longest, I think, of maybe like one of the Metroid games. All right, so it's by the same people that did Virtua Fighter. So it was a cross between a RPG and a kind of beat 'em up because the combat was like it's in real time. It's not turn based. It's basically like imagine if you've played Yakuza. It's going to be like Yakuza, but like it's slightly more primitive in that. You could also go into various arcades and play various classic Sega games like Hang On and Outrun, I believe. I would say Outrun's one of my favourite games, but like it's not going to get in this video because I don't have it on any of these machines. Right. Anyway, so Shenmue. So the Shenmue, and make sure you get there's 4 discs in there. I think one of the discs is a passport disc though, so it's not got any game on it. I think it's art and something else. All right. Shenmue is going for £9.09, £23.31 complete. There's also a second game available, also available on the Xbox. The difference between the first game and the second game is one's slightly more advanced. The second game on the Dreamcast is subtitled rather than translated, whereas the Xbox version, I believe the later version is translated. You can also get a copy, PlayStation 4 thing, which has both games on the disc. Right, anyway, that was Shenmue. You say a different game, and the third game is also worth checking out. I haven't finished it, but say right. So let's move on. Oh, sorry about this. All the games are out of order. Sorry, I'm going through them. They've managed to get out of order. All right, they're in order now. So we've got Power Stone. So Power Stone is it's what would I describe Power Stone as? Power Stone is kind of like a party fighter. It's like pre Smash Brothers, because it's like you've got Power Stone. There's 2 games in the series. I'll tell you about a cheaper way to play them in a minute. So this is Power Stone 2. Power Stone 1 is a bit less chaotic and more about one-on-one, whereas Power Stone 2 brought in up to 4 player, and the Dreamcast had more ports. It had 4 ports, like an N64, whereas the other consoles didn't have that many ports without a multi-tap. Anyway, Power Stone is a arena-based brawler, is the best way to describe it. This one's quite chaotic. You can play with up to 4 players. I think I actually preferred the first game, although I did sell the first one when the second one came out, and as you say, I haven't got the first one back, but it's quite cheap now. Hey, Power Stone 2, a fun thing if you like it, that thing. So this is going £17.64 loose or £51.86 complete. The first game is only £9.50 loose or £20.34 complete. There's also a PSP compilation if you're more retro, and that only goes for £15. And it's also available on Capcom Fighting Collection 2, along with some other stuff. Obviously, that's the best way to play it. Right, so we move on to some. Let's say one of my video game things I like. Sorry about that. Let's say I'm trying to film one-handed. Right, is I like cell shaded games. And so if you know what cell shaded game I'm going to pick up now, we'll probably think. So we've got Jet Set Radio, as you say, as you see what I paid for it in the time. That is the tag from the time. So Jet Set Radio is a cell shaded game, and you say what is it? It's a cross between like a Tony Hawk, because you're on rollerblades. Right, and you say as opposed to roller skates. Anyway, it's a cell shaded game due to the art style, and the aim is to basically avoid the cops while you're doing like graffiti and tagging various things. It's also got a great soundtrack. I remember stuff like Mixmaster Mike for being on the soundtrack. That's partly why this game probably hasn't received a wider release on various newer platforms, because of the licensed soundtrack. Jet Set Radio is great. Check it out if you like stuff like Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk's also good as well. Anyway, Jet Set Radio didn't get very many games in the series. This one is the first one in the series. It's also worth bearing in mind, this has got a slightly different name. It's called Jet Grind Radio in other territories. All right, I paid $19.99 for it back in the day. Going for £20.87 loose now, £26.2 complete. It's also got this one, which is a newer version. So this is Jet Set Radio Future. So this originates on Xbox. This is, I believe, is unique to Xbox. It's not. It's format exclusive. It wasn't released on PlayStation. All right, Jet Set Radio Future and the more up-to-date version of this. That's going for £19.23 or £34 something. There's also a double pack available, which comes with another version, another game. I think that's actually cheaper. If you want to play a more recent game that's similar, I recommend Bum Rush Cyberpunk or Funk. I think it's Funk. Anyway, so that's a more newer game. Right, so we carry on. Right, so I'm just... The things came in. So Resident Evil Veronica. So this is the first... See if I can move that out. So Resident Evil Veronica was the first Resident Evil game I remember playing that I actually thought the controls were actually... Well, they weren't tank controls. All right, Resident Evil Veronica 2 is also another Dreamcast game that has multiple discs. I remember getting to the second disc. And you say, these Resident Evil games used to be a lot harder. Supposedly this game might be getting a remake. There's also, this edition is the Dreamcast original. It's also available on PlayStation as Resident Evil Veronica X, and it's a lot cheaper. And there's also a gun game spin-off, which is a lot more. Right, so Resident Evil Veronica, the first Dreamcast game of Resi I remember playing. I remember playing Resi when it came out on like the PlayStation and Saturn and just hating the controls and giving up. All right, this is going for £9.63 loose or £44.24 on the complete. The PlayStation version, on the other hand, which is Resident Evil Veronica X on PS2, is going for £4.64 or £12.47 complete. Gun Survivor gun game is going for £66, which is basically that reinterpreted through a gun game. Right, so that's that. So we move on to Sonic Adventure. So Sonic Adventure 2. This is Sonic Adventure 2. The first one is also available. I remember getting a record on the Time Attack because it was one of the first machines to have online. As you see, it says online functions. And I still believe you can access that, but unofficially, if you have the was it a Dream Pi or something? I think it's called. Anyway, so I remember getting a record on one of the score attack modes on the first one, and you getting to whatever 100 it was in a couple of hundred, I think. This is Sonic Adventure 2. I believe this was one of the first games to feature Shadow the Hedgehog. As you say, it's got first game with Shadow in it, I believe. Right, and then you say there's various different modes in this game. Some of the ones are more like speed based, and some are like you're digging for various items. There was even fishing levels in the original. It had Big the Cat, I believe. Right. Anyway, so Sonic Adventure 2, but this is not the best version of this game. There is a better way to play it. So this is Sonic Adventure 2. This is going for £33 loose or £84 complete. There's Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube, which is going for £14 complete, which is a lot better way, and it's got some additional features. I think it's got more of the mini games for the Charles, I believe, the VMU kind of thing. Yeah, and there's also a Japanese version available, which is more like a limited edition that comes with like a coin and various other things. Alright, so that's that one. Here we are. This right. So we got a more unusual game. We've got Choo Choo Rocket. So this is like a puzzle game. I mean, say it's not the only. I do like puzzle games. So say I remember the first puzzle game I kind of played was probably Tetris, the original Tetris. All right, Choo Choo Rocket is a real-time puzzle game because you've got various You've got a board basically appears. I also think it's quite similar to Pipe Mania, which dates back to 16-bit computers, because you've got a grid and you basically have to connect various things. In this one, there's various cats, and you basically have to guide the mice to the rocket in real time. It also had a big online component back in the day as well. And this game, I remember Sega sent this to us. So if you got a Dreamcast when it came out, they reduced the price. I think it was $249 down to $199, and then they sent this game out if you basically had to claim it to get. And they sent people this free of charge, so I didn't pay anything for this. Dream Arena was the online portal for gaming through the Dreamcast, as it says on the box. All right, it's not going for a lot, £2.42 or £6.20, and I believe it's format exclusive. Now we're going to make time to make some crazy money. Crazy Taxi. Okay, so Crazy Taxi, one of the most unusual games. It's it's a racing game, score attack mode. You basically pick up various passengers and take them to their destination. So the problem with so this game has been ported to more recent things, but they're not all available. There was what's called the Dreamcast Collection. It's available on. And there was a Steam version. The problem with those more recent versions, other than the Steam versions being delisted, was they'd taken out the licenses, most of the soundtrack, like Offspring and Bad Religion, which I didn't know much about Bad Religion before I started playing Crazy Taxi. I'd already started listening to Offspring before then. Anyway, they say they've taken out most of the licensing, like the KFC and Tower Records. All right, this is the way to appreciate them in the fullest. All right, this is £11.33 or £26.70 complete. Anyway, there's 3 games in the sequence. We're going to go through them. So we're going to go on to Crazy Taxi 2 and say this is. So they're also available on PlayStation, some of them, and ports. And they're handheld ports as well, but I haven't played the handheld ports. I've got them on the R36H and emulator as well. So Crazy Taxi 2, £18. So this one has slightly different things, like more characters, I think, as well. £18.65 loose or £44.91. And this one is probably one of the ones that people forget about. This is Crazy Taxi 3. This is one that isn't the most well-known of the franchise, I would say. I mean, all this is basically Crazy Taxi 1. I think it was the one track from Crazy Taxi 1 and one of the ones, a new one entirely. All right, there's Crazy Taxi, the sequence. That one's going for £17.44 or £22.87 complete. Right. I mentioned the Dreamcast Collection. So the Dreamcast Collection is a good way to play quite a few of these games. It's available on PS3 and 360. It's got Sega Bass Fishing, one of the Sonics, Space Channel 5, and yeah. Okay, so now we're going to go on to some of the other ones. Right, I mean, they've come out of order again. Right, so we've got Sega Rally. Sega Rally Championship. So this is Sega Rally 2, effectively. So this is, I didn't feature the original Sega Rally. I thought it was kind of I didn't think it was as good as Daytona. The thing I think about Sega Rally 2 is it's got a lot more single player content, because basically they've got there's like what's it got, season mode, which is the first one thing. There was like 10 years, and I remember it being quite long for the single player. Anyway, Sega Rally, a good fun arcade racing game. I believe there's also Sega Rally, a later one on like PS2 era. All right, this is going for £9.82 or £15.51 complete. Right, we move on to another fighting game. So, the Dreamcast had quite a lot of fighting games. There's also Sync versus Capcom and stuff like that. All right, this is Soul Calibur. So this is effectively Soul Calibur 2, because the first one was called Soul Blade, that was on the PS1. All right, this is the one I have the most affection for in the series. We ran a tournament of Soul Calibur at school when I was in school. We did Dreamcast for Charities Week. All right, so I'm playing. I'm a Keylink player, so Keelik's the one at the top above the other one. It was Jinyu. Was the other one? Anyway, Keelik has the staff. Right, so Soul Calibur is also available. You could get more recent games in the series. It goes up to number 6. I mean, say the Soul Calibur 2 is also available on the Switch online thing for free if you've got this current Switch. Alright, Soul Calibur 2, £8.5, going for £12.80 now. And also the later games in the Soul Calibur series, they have format exclusive characters. So the format exclusive characters being you got Link on the GameCube version, and then there's is it Kratos on the PlayStation 1? I think it's Kratos on the PlayStation 1. Right, that's Soul Calibur. Right, we move on to right, so we've got Mr. Driller. So Mr. Driller is a fun puzzle game. So this one being the original one, I think so. So this one is, so it differs to like a Tetris game, as it's a bit more frantic and the thing. So instead of Tetris, where you have to line up blocks basically to build the columns, you start at the top of the screen. You have a limited supply of air, and you basically have to drill to the bottom of the screen by lining up blocks and going through it, and you have to avoid getting squashed by things. But it's the same principle as Tetris. You have to line up blocks of various colors, and they line up and they disappear, so it's like a match-free kind of game. Anyway, this was the first one I played in the series. I don't like, I noticed the shops, they had these horrible marks on the box of where the thing. It's a game tag from what I remember. All right, so that's Mr. Driller. I mean, you say the best Mr. Driller is probably the current one. It is Drill Land. It was a GameCube game originally, but it has been ported to like the Switch and that. And I don't know if it's available in physical. I haven't got a physical one, but I've got a digital version. All right. There are also various other games that were released around this time. So there's Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. Right. So now we move on to Mr. Drill. Oh, so I forgot to tell you how much that one was. Going for £15.28 loose or £21.22 complete. So I'll give you an alternative. You've got Mr. Drill Sprites. Probably the better game, although maybe not as colourful on the DS screen. Going for £5.8 loose or £8.11 complete. When we move to some puzzle games to a shooter. I got this I remember getting this from a game. But the thing, you see how much they were in the thing, they're getting rid of them. The case isn't amazing, but like that's how much I paid for it. Got that the same day I got Code Veronica, I believe. And there it was, do you think this is worth more than Veronica? Geiger Wing is a shmup. It's one of the earlier bullet hell games. So it was one thing. It has a mechanic called like the reflect force. So basically you build up a charge bar, and you can reflect all the bullets back at the enemies, but you can only do it so many times because you've got a limited charge. Anyway, so that's one of the best shooters. I don't think I've single cleared this one. I can clear it, but not that well. Anyway, it's also one of the games that has, I think it's got some of the largest high scores, the largest scoring game or something. I think it's in the Guinness Book of Records. Anyway. Geiger Wing. There's also later games available. There's Geiger Wing Generations, which is also available on PlayStation 2. The second one didn't come out in PAL region on this thing. All right. Geiger Wing is going for £25.17 loose or £49.16. And Generations is available on PS2, although I don't have it. It's relatively rare in this region. Right, so now we've got a couple more to finish with. Right, so I'll do my big box one. So this is the biggest box away. So this is House of the Dead 2. So this is the complete boxed edition with the gun. It's all in there. It's all in the box. Probably one of my favorite gun games. I also think it's one of the harder gun games as well. From what I think, I've finished it anyway. I would say I've got the thing. I also picked up Typing of the Dead, the more recent one on Steam. It was in sale, which is an adaptation of basically this or one of the later games to use a keyboard. It's also available on the Dreamcast as Typing of the Dead with the keyboard, but it wasn't released in Europe. All right. House of the Dead 2, one of the best gun games. Right, so we're going to quote the price, and that version is going for quite a lot. It's going for £74.78, which is the thing. Right, they also got some spin-offs I can show. So we've got House of the Dead 3. So why am I showing you House of the Dead 3? This is because this is also got House of the Dead 2 on it. This is the Xbox one. I don't think it was available on PlayStation, so it's another alternative. So gun games, again, as I say, the later gun games do work on a thing. Anything that's HDMI will work on a current TV. So, and a lot of stuff like the Wii games will work as long as you've got the sensor bar. All right, House of the Dead 3 is going for £9.32 or £13.90. It's also available in a part of a double pack, so you can get a double pack on the Wii, which contain House of the Dead 2 and 3. Although there's no good way to play the first game outside the Saturn version. Alright, see, we've also got House of the Dead Overkill, which isn't the best version of this. There's a PlayStation 3 version that's got some extra content. Alright, this isn't going for a lot. This is going for £12 something. Sorry, I'm running out of the thing. Right, so then we've got our last game to feature. We've got another schmuck to finish with. So we've got Bang.io. So this is it's a cross between a puzzle game and a shooting game. So it's by Treasure, which adds a lot of value because most, I'd say, Treasure games are worth above average price and play well as well. They've done other games like Radiant Silvergun and Ikaruga. All right, Bang.io, one of them, is it one of them less regarded game? Well, less well known, I would say, not less regarded. All right, it's more like a single screen kind of thing. No, it does scroll, but like it's not as chaotic as some of them. All right, there's also got the other spin-off, because I think that's the DS one, that's Bang.io Spirits. As you see, that's what I paid for it back in the day. Not much on any of them. Let's see if I can find the price. I can't see the price on the paper. Oh, here we are. So Bang.io is £24.5 loose. It's going for £53 complete. So that's the Dreamcast one. The DS one's a lot less. It's going for £13.98 or £24.3 complete. All right. I do believe that's everything anyway. Thanks very much for joining me for my Dreamcast, for my best of Sega games video. Anyway, these are just my favourite Sega games. There are probably some I've forgotten about, but like I've shown you most of them. I've given you a wider variety of ways to play them on more modern hardware if that's all you have. And basically giving you some alternative games to go with. Alright, thanks very much for watching. I would say if you like, comment, like or hype, and please subscribe if you're new. It helps me grow the channel. I keep doing these videos. I mean, you say I will do these physical collecting videos, and you say I will keep doing them. You say I've just finished this series now, so I think I've done all of them. If you want to scroll back through the playlist, you can watch the others in the series. I've done all of them for Sega. I've done Nintendo. I've done Xbox. There are multiple Xbox videos across multiple consoles because I have a larger collection of those, and PlayStation. All right. Yeah, thanks very much for watching. Anyway, also on the channel, I do also for video games, I do various physical, in addition to these collecting videos, I do various gameplay videos for various things. I'm hoping going to show you some more gameplay from the older stuff at some point. Anyway, Sophie hasn't joined us today. She had the choice. She's sitting in the game room today. She'll come up if she wants to, and as I don't think she's coming up today. All right, she'll probably make an appearance for the other video. Sooner we should be into the main room, and we will be we'll be filming from the main room soon. As soon as I've done the room tour, I don't want to spoil anything, so I've left it. If you want to see my old room tour video, check the one out I did at the end of last year. I gave you a sneak preview. I haven't finished the room yet. All right, thanks very much for watching. This has been Matthew and Matthew Hawker Gaming, and I'll see you again soon. Keep playing your games. See you soon. Bye.